Mystery Stongo.
Domino's, Mongenda.
Dos. Let's see. Oh, and everybody. Long time no see. Adam, Eli, Roland, Change, Jeff Gadon. Got Jolgi, interested Doidon. Gawida Amidal Wados. Jim Mahayahanes Mujanetta. My name is Maha Eli. I am a daughter of Gakjalgi, which is what? So I know you guys learned that. Nah, I heard someone say, yeah, it's someone from Panther Clan. Nice. And my Idalwa is Kawita, and I'll be teaching you all today. I'm trying to make sure I seriously admit everybody as they come in. And today we're covering present tense. So real quick, last time I got to share with y'all, if you remember, we did, let's see, does this color show? Oh, heck yeah, that shows. Okay. Last time we did sentence structure. So if you remember, English is subject, verb, object, right? So it's I eat bread. Mvskoke is subject, object, verb. So it's I, bread, eat. I, bread, eat. So keeping that in mind, as we move on with this today, we're going into more sentence building parts. So we have our base on the order of things in our sentence. Now we need to know, how do we actually start using them when we talk? So today we're going to be focusing on present tense. Present tense. Okay. Boop. So moving this over here so I can see. Present tense. Nagidoa. Nagidoa. What does that mean?
What is
it? Present tense, nagidoa. What is present tense? So when we're talking about things that are happening now, we speak in present tense. I am eating. We are listening. They are sleeping. I am teaching. You are learning. Right? That is happening now, present tense. It's also used for things like habits. I run every Tuesday. I don't eat tomatoes. Things like that. And then facts. So things like bears eat meat. It is raining, right? All these different things. Habits, facts, and happening right now. These are where we use present tense. So, real quick, to check in on if we're understanding what that means then, I want you to look at this real quick. I have 7 sentences. Think about which sentences are in present tense. Either write them down, write them in the chat. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to do this, and then I'm going to show you which ones, in fact, are in present.
I think you're muted.
Oops, sorry. Okay. That must have been when I moved my thing. Sorry. I want to do a check-in real quick and see if you can tell based off what we were talking about on the last slide. Was I muted for the last slide too?
Half of it, like you were talking about, you talked about the present tense, and then we moved to this slide and how we were gonna write things.
Yes, okay. Good. Okay, so you hear me. So yes, in either chat or on a piece of paper, I want you to write down these numbers associated with the sentences, which ones are in present tense. Your guess as to which ones are in present tense based off what we've talked about. Nice. Like G. Oh, got another one. Okay, one more minute. Okay. So looking at number 1, I will go to the store. Real quick, just with hands. Yes, no. Present tense. Yes, no. Much-y. Nice. Will is future tense. I will. So it is not present tense. Number 2, they are meeting. Is this present tense? Ihimos. Much-y. They are meeting. In English, a lot of times when we're doing something presently, we use is as a helping verb, right? So they are meeting. I am swimming. So it's happening right now. Number 3, she was on the phone. Ihimos. Mongos. Was is past tense. So she's not on the phone now, right? She was on the phone before. So this is not present tense. Deer jump high. Present tense. Ihi or mongos. Ihi, right? This one may not necessarily be happening right this second. There's not a deer in the room, but this is a fact, a factual statement. Deer jump high. So much-y. So yes and yes. Where is my phone? Is this present tense? Ihi or mongos?
Mongoose.
This one, I put in there specifically to be tricky. This one is present tense because we're asking where the phone is located in the present. I'm not asking where was it, where it will be. I'm asking where is right now my phone. So this is a present tense. It's a present tense question, but it is present tense. You like running. Is this present or is this not present? Ihi, mongos. Much-y. You like running. It is present tense. In this case, it's a factual statement, right? You, as a bat, enjoy running. And then last but not least, we have where are we going to meet? Is this present or not present? Ihi, mongos. Much-y. Mongos. Where are we going to? In English, we have 2 ways we tend to do the future. It's will or going to. Because it's not where are we meeting right now? Where are we going to meet? Because this could be in 2 hours. It could be tomorrow. So the correct answer was 2, 4, 5, and 6. 2, 4, 5, and 6.
I was just looking at.
2, 4, 5, and 6. So real quick,
I know we've done it.
with a thumbs up, thumbs down, we feel like we kind of understand present
It's just.
when we recognize it. Much-y.
Register.
Much-y. Check it in.
But do you have the?
Nice. Yes, 7 is future. Okay, let me go ahead and clear my drawings real quick and get us to the next page. Okay, in order for us to talk about present tense, we have 2 main types of verbs in Mvskoke. We're going to focus on action verbs today. Action verbs. The 2 are action and stative. We're going to focus on action verbs. So our question is, what is an action verb? Okay, so what is it? It's something that you physically or mentally do, and generally things you control. Not always, but generally things you control. So my examples I have over here then are to sing, right? I am physically singing, I control my singing. To run, I have to physically run. I can decide to stop running. To think, this is something I mentally do, right? I can think about something. I can tell you, think about an apple, and you will think about an apple, right? And then to eat, another thing, physically we do, nom, 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 right? So in Mvskoke, what do action verbs look like? They generally end with the ida ending, ida, ida. So our 2 examples here are hombeda and lickeda.
But you have
Ida.
time to look over the spelling.
Hombeda, lickeda. So this ida is how we can generally tell if something is gonna be an action verb. This isn't always the case. As you start to learn, you'll kind of be able to tell better, but this is a good indicator of whether or not it is an action verb.
Hi.
So let's find the patterns. I want to try to do this where I don't really explain the pattern. I want us to see the pattern. It's easier for us to kind of remember something if we're having to sit there and see it, learn it. I'm gonna use, how about orange? Feeling orange. Yeah, that works. Okay. So I have these little sections and they're named things, but we're not gonna worry about them. We're not gonna stare at them, think about them. We're not gonna go into detail. We're gonna focus on what's happening to the verbs, right? So we're gonna look here. So our first verb, hombida. It's the same one I used in the last slide. Hombida. It has that ida right here that shows that action verb. So if they always end in ida, our root is the part before ida. So homb. Now we add a. We add s. Home. A. S. And we're forming the I form. So altogether it becomes home base, home base. I am eating, or I eat, right? Because it could be either. I'm eating, I eat, home base. Home, our root without the ida, a, s, home base. Next is yahegida. What does yahegida mean? Anybody who knows?
Sing.
Matji, to sing. Yahegida, to sing. I mean, once again, we have that ida. So our root is gonna be yaheg. Yaheg. A. S. Yaheges. Yaheges. Yaheg. A. S. Now, let's do those together, the first two. So, magayo, magux, homb,
Home. Home.
a.
A.
S.
A.
S. Machi, home base.
Home
Home
base.
Machi, yaheg,
Yaheg.
a.
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 Yaheges.
Yahegis.
Yaheges.
Machi, machi. Next is likida. Likida. So it becomes leak, leak. It's hard to hear on here. Leak. That T and the okay. Leak. A. S.
A.
Leak.
Case.
Leak case. Machi, leak case.
Lead case.
Leak case. Magayo, magux, leak case.
Leak case.
Case.
Machi. Legida. Legida. Legida means
Run. Run.
run, and legida means
To sit or live. Sit.
to
To
sit.
sit.
Machi. So legida, leg, leg,
Leg.
a,
A.
legace,
Legs.
Case.
legace, legace.
Leg case.
Machi, legace. And then
Legace.
last but not least we have iskida. Iskida means
Drink.
to drink. Machi. So we have isk,
Isk. Isk.
A.
A. A.
iskace,
Iskes.
Case.
iskace. Machi, iskace. It becomes iskace. So iskace. Machi. Machi. So hadam.
Iskes.
I'm going to start from the beginning. Magayo, magux, home base.
Home
Home
base.
Yaheges,
Yaheges.
Yaheges.
leakgace,
Leak Leak case.
Case.
legace,
Legs.
eastgace.
East
East
case.
case.
Machi. Machi. Home base. Yaheges,
Home.
leakgace, legace, eastgace. Machi. Kind of makes sense? We're seeing our pattern? Much. Okay, now I got 4 verbs. So the idea, right, is if we learn this pattern, it doesn't matter whether we've seen these verbs before, we should be able to conjugate them. So I'm gonna give you a few minutes. I want you to try to conjugate them on your own. Then I'm gonna call on some people to try and we'll see how we're doing. So our verbs, the first one is nojada, to sleep. Second one is noslajada, to cook. Number 3 is basida, to sweep. And 4 is daskida, to jump. So I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay. Let's see. There we go. There you can hear me. Yeah, okay. For number 1. Oh, is my thing on the wrong microphone? No, it should be good. Can you hear me okay? You can? Okay. Sorry, we were having issues with the audio earlier. So for number 1, Ron, can you give me I am sleeping with Nojada? Mutji, Nojes. Nojes. Mutji. Mutji, right? It is the part we get rid of. We have Noj and we added A. Nojes. How about number 2? How about Casey? Can you do number 2? No slajada. Oh, I see your mouth moving, but you're muted. You're still muted. It's okay, it's okay. There we go.
There we go. I'm so sorry. No, I could write it, but I can't say it right now. It's Noricis.
Nice. So you have Noricis. Let's go through the pieces. Ready? I say you say no.
No.
Play.
Play.
Mutji. Jace. Mutji. No. Slay. Jace.
No. Play. Jace.
Mutji. Perfect. Okay, how about for the next one? How about Mavis? Are you able to take off your mute and give me Basida? Maybe. Okay, if not, then how about, I believe iPhone is Rick. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how about you? Basida.
Bosses.
Mutji, bosses. 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 Right? We have that boss. A. Bosses. Mutji, and last but not least, how about Lana or Lana? I don't know. Are you able to unmute?
Yes,
Mutji, how about Daskida?
that's case.
Mutji, Daskis. And is it Lana or Lana?
Lana,
Lana, okay.
thank you. Mado,
Enga. Das geht's, Machi, das geht's.
das geht's.
Das geht's. Das geht's. Das geht's. Machi. Okay, let's look at the clear, pretty version with the text. There we go. We have our nojes, no slajes, bases, and das geht's. So we're gonna do I say, you say. I'm gonna change my color. Please. I feel like this color looks too brown for me. Let's do. Oh, maybe this one. Let's try that one. Okay. I say, you say. No J's.
No J's.
No just.
Hanam, no J's.
No
No
J.
just.
G. No slay J's.
No
No
flages.
Sages.
Hanam, no slay J's.
No
No
flages.
G. Bosses.
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 G. Hanam, bosses.
Bases.
Bases.
Bosses.
G. Daskes.
Das
Daskes.
Daskes.
Hanam, daskes.
Daskes.
G. G. Okay. Now let's see if we're really seeing the pattern because we're going to do the next round. Okay. Okay. So we just went through that one. Now we're looking at you. So we have the same verbs, right? Home bida. So home. Itchy. 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 Home. Magayo magat. Home.
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 Itchy.
Itchy.
Machi. Home bitches.
Home bitches.
Home bitches.
Hanam. Home bitches.
Home
Home bitches.
Machi.
bitches.
Bitches. Machi. Our next verb is yahegida, right? To sing. So yahegida. Yaheg.
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 Itchy.
Itchy.
Yaheg. Gitches.
Yaheg.
Yaheg. Gitches.
Machi. Hanam. Yaheg. Gitches.
Yaheg. Gitches.
Yaheg. Gitches. Next we have likida. Likida means to run, right? So we have lead. So Hanam. Lead.
Lead.
Itchy.
Itch.
Itchy.
Itchy.
And then lead. Just.
Lead.
Lead. Gitches.
Machi. Hanam. Lead. Gitches.
Lead. Gitches.
Itches.
Machi. Lead. Gitches. Next we have legida, right? To sit. Legida. We have our piece without the ida. Leg.
Leg.
Itchy.
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 This.
Leg.
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 Gitches.
Machi. Leg. Gitches.
Leg.
Leg
Gitches.
itches.
Machi. Leg. Gitches. Last but not least, we have iskida, which was to drink. So our piece is isk.
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 Itchy.
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 This.
Iskitches.
Iskitches.
Itches.
Iskitches.
Iskitches.
Machi. And then because this is present tense, we're gonna make this a long E for a lot of reasons. So it's iskitches.
Iskitches.
Skitches.
Iskitches.
Skitches.
East. Itches.
Iskitches.
Iskitches. Muchy. So since we've now looked at different forms. Oh, 1 second. Now that we've looked at
Mahaya, Kalani Dogas. On this one, this ETC Magatsan, can you explain that again? Hada Mukhayadigas,
how to say it or what it's doing.
what it's doing.
That's actually what I was just about to
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're fine. So what we were just about to cover actually was that. So right, in the last one, in this section, it was the letter I, it was A, right? And the meaning had something different, right? When I said home base, it was I'm eating. Versus now it's itchy and it's home bitches. And the change is now you are eating, right? So this person marker is showing who's doing the action, right? In our action verbs. So now we can actually kind of see what part are we switching out when I want to say I, you, she, we, it's this middle part we're switching out, right?
Itchy.
I also want to point out too, itchy is one of the many dialects used for this form. You has the most differences amongst dialects. It can be it. It can be, let me think, home bit skis, home bit just, home bit sis,
Just
home bit,
very good.
home bitch.
Yeah, very good. Just.
Sorry. So it can be so many different forms. This one has the most change depending on it won't, there we go. I was like, it won't be a doggy. Yeah. It has the most change in forms depending on your dialect that you use. I'm using the itchy dialect due to the fact that most people, other speakers in this office use this dialect. And I actually originally didn't speak with this dialect, but after spending so much time with speakers that do use this dialect, this is now the one that I default to. So this is the one that I've chosen to use as we learn, but just be aware if your parents, your grandparents, your family, if you hear them using a slightly different sound, it's not wrong, it's just one of the other dialects. I just can't include all of them at once because that's a lot of information at once. So I'm going to do just one. If there's one that you personally use more, absolutely feel free to use it when answering any questions or filling out your thingy. So you're good. Okay. So one more time. Magayo magaks. Home bitches.
Home bitches.
Home bitches.
Bitches.
Hello, hadam, home bitches.
Home bitches.
Home
Home
bitches.
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 Yeah, hey, get just.
You
Yeah,
hate
hey,
Bitches.
this.
Hadam. Yeah, hey, get just.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
hey,
Yeah, hey,
bitches.
bitches.
This.
Leak it just.
Lick
Lick
bitches.
Bitches.
Hadam, leak it just.
Lick
Lick
bitches.
bitches.
Machi. Leg it just.
Leg
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 bitches.
Hadam, leg it just.
Leg
Bitches.
Machi. Iskit just.
Iskitches.
Iskit just.
Sketches.
Bitches.
Machi. Owa, iskit just. You are drinking water. Owa, iskase. I'm drinking water. Right? Machi.
Machi.
Okay, let's go on to the practice of it. Okay, I'm giving you more new verbs. In general, I'm attempting in this lesson to give you no same verb besides what we go through like the chart. The practices are all new verbs every time. Because I want you to understand that if you ever need to look up a word, you go to the dictionary, you can figure out how to at least conjugate it and probably base what it's probably going to pronounce like. So our verbs for this one is wakida, to lay down, hayada, to make, gossida, to brush, and fayada, to hunt. So I'll give you a few minutes, write down, you are blank. And so present tense with the you form with these four. And I'll give you 2 minutes, 2 minutes. And during that 2 minutes, owa iskes. Okay. I'm gonna start asking. How about? I will remember, but is it Deanna or Deanna?
Tina.
Dina.
Yes.
Budgie. Okay, Dina, can you do number 1? Walk it up for me.
Wagitches, getches,
Budgie, walk it just. Walk,
wagitches.
Budgie. And she brought up a good point just now. She said walk it geese. That is a dialectal difference. Some people will use that stronger E on the end. Walk it geese. Walk it just. That is dependent on the speaker, the dialect. So Mutji. Okay. Number 2, let's do, how about Christy? Hayada.
Ayechkis.
Hayichkis. Ooh, you used that one. I'll write down what you said. You said Hayichkis. You used this one, Hayichkis.
Just came out.
And that's what I'm talking about. You just use the one that you use. So if we use the other spelling that I have been using, it'd be Sorry, undo. There we go. Hayitchis. Mutji. Let's see, for Gossida, let's do Galani. Do you want to do Gossida?
I was just going to say, I think I use a different dialect than what you're using, because, yeah, Gazis, kind of like an A. Gazis.
That's tennis. That's brush your hair. This is, you are brushing your hair. So they're slightly different.
Okay, I thought it meant to, just to brush. Okay. Gazis.
Yeah, so for this one, it'd be Gazitchis or Gazitchkis. Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Much.
Okay,
So
I see.
which one would you use?
The Gazitsa.
Muchi, Gazitch.
Mhm.
Muchi. Okay, and then Fayada, how about Tad? Fayada.
Vayetskis.
Muchi. Fayet. Yes. And then with the other one, Fayet. I did the A again on accident. Boop. There we go. Fayetchis. Muchi. So we have waketchis. And I'm going to use the one I've been using. So waketchis. Hayetchis. Gossipchis. And fayetchis. Let's make it the pretty version with it all typed out. Okay. So magayo, magas. Waketchis.
Waketchis.
Hanam waketchis.
Waketchis.
Machi. Hayetchis.
Hayetchis.
Hanam hayetchis.
Hayetchis.
Machi. Gossipchis.
Gossipchis.
Hanam gossipchis.
Gossipchis.
Fayetchis.
Fayetchis.
Hanam fayetchis.
Fayetchis.
Machi. Okay, so then now that we have seen how they kind of differentiate, we can fully start looking into what are the other forms. So now we're at she, he, and it. So we've had I, you, now it's she, he, it, someone over there, right? So we have our same verbs, hombada. So home, and then this is in parentheses. This is because the he, she, it form has like no person marker, but I can't just go homps, yikes, that doesn't sound right. So we put in this little eh, the short e. So it becomes home, home, So I say you say home,
Om.
Eh. Machi. Hombis.
Ombes.
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 Ombes. Ombes.
Hombis. Machi, next we do yaheg. So yaheg.
Yaheg. Yaheg.
Eh.
Eh.
Yahegis.
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 Machi, yahegis.
Yahegis.
Yahegis. Next we have leek. So leek.
Leek.
Eh.
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 Leekis.
Litkes.
Leekis.
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 Machi, leekis.
Litkes.
We have leg.
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 Eh.
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 Legis.
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 Legis. Legis. Legis. Not to be confused with legus, right? Legus is a command. Legis is a statement.
Okay.
Isk. So isk.
This.
Es.
Es.
Eh.
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 Iskis.
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 And then when present, we use e. So iskis.
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 So iskis.
Iskis.
Machi. So hadam. Magayo magat. Hombis.
Ombes.
Ombes.
Hadam hombis.
Ombes.
Yehagis.
Yahegis.
Hadam yehagis.
Yahegis.
Leekis.
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 Legis.
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 Iskis.
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 Much. Okay. I want to go on to the other forms. So let's only do the first two real quick. So just do the first two. I'm only going to give you a few minutes. So just your best thought at it. We have fullatcv, which is to circle around something. Once again, I chose some hard words on purpose. Fullatcv. We have mangada to say, nufgada to hit, and dumgada to fly. So only do 1 and 2. By the time I'm done drinking my water, I'm gonna call on somebody to at least try.
What person are we doing again?
He, she, or it.
Thank you. Third.
Okay. And then since you'll have access to this later, all the answers will be there too. So, later, once we don't go through, you'll be able to have that PDF. So real quick, somebody, how about Tad? Fullatcv.
Fullatcv.
Machi. Fullatcv. So he is circling around the snake, right? Fullatcv. Magada, how about Ron? Magada.
Magus.
Machi, Magus. Machi. Okay. And like I said, I have the actual one here, so you can see Nofgus and Dumgus as well. You'll notice, as a real side note, Nofgada has a V. In present tense, it becomes Nof. Nof. Same happened with when I said Iskada. When I would say it, it becomes Iskes. Right? So it's called elongation. when we're saying present tense, we're elongating. So the V elongates to an A, short E elongates to a long E, but you'll see here the V doesn't. It's because of who its buddies are. This M and this K are blocking it from being elongated. So basically, don't worry too much about it. You'll be okay. You'll pick it up. If you say it you're fine. So don't worry too much about it. That's basically what I want y'all to know. And language learning, you can't stress out too much.
Mahaya, is it the double consonant?
It's
Or-
specifically it's the type of double consonant. It's not just any double consonant, but it has to do with, I think, the fact that it's specifically an M combination or an N combination, I think, do that.
Oh,
Okay, next we have we. The we form. Moving this up here so I can see. Okay. So our we form, right? It's E. I capitalized this E to show you it's like in we, not the short one, right? That was the one that was used for the third person, the he, she, and it. So this is we. So we have home,
home,
E,
E,
E.
home bees,
Home bees.
home bees,
home bees,
Ombies.
home bees,
the home bees. Then we have Yaheg. So from Yahegida, Yaheg,
Yaheg,
E,
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 Yahegis.
Yahegis,
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 Yahegis.
Yahegis, Mutji. Next we have Bifakida. So we've had Likida in this place this whole time. Bifakida is when 3 or more people are running. Likida is only one person running. So since we're saying we, that means there has to be more than one person. So we're using Bifakida. This is 3 or plus people are running, right? So our root then is Bifak, Bifak,
Bifak.
E,
E.
Mutji. So Bifakis,
Bifakis.
Fakis.
Bifakis,
Baskis.
Bifatkis,
Mutji, Bifakis. Mutji. Next is Abogida. So we've had sit, Legida in this spot. Legida has the same rule. Legida means one person. Abogida means 3 or more people are sitting. So Abogida, we're saying 3 or more of us are sitting. We are sitting. So Abog,
Abog,
Abo.
Cookies.
Abogi,
Mutji, Abogis,
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 Abogis.
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 Last but not least, we have Iskida. Iskida does not change, like Yehegida and Opunvkv did not. So Isk,
Isk,
E,
E,
Iskis,
Iskis,
and then we elongate it for present tense. Iskis,
Iskis.
Iskis,
Mutji, Iskis,
Iskis.
Iskis. Mutji. Any questions so far? Sailing. We're seeing the patterns. I like looking at it this way where we can see that pattern. It makes it a lot easier to figure out what we're doing. Okay.
Mahaya.
Oh,
So with Bifatkida, would you ever say Bifatkes? Like I am running, I'm telling you I'm running with a group.
so from my understanding, yes, but it's so specific. I was actually asking some of the other first language speakers. I was throwing a bunch of different scenarios at them, trying to figure out when it felt right and when it didn't. So like, yes, but it's very, you're almost implying there are other people, but you're explaining yourself. So like, yes, but I think it's very contextual based, and I'm still trying to figure that one out. You could never use likis though. And
Maro.
that's because likis as its own thing inherently means one person. So that one cannot work. Okay, now for this one, like I said, I want to cover more, so I'm not gonna sit on these, but just so that you know how to say them, and when you do it on your own time, you know what they are. We have dasigida, so that's to jump, right? But now it's 3 people, right? Daskida becomes dasigida for free. We have washvida to cut up, to slice. Then we have flafuligida. So flafuligida is to go and come back 3 or more people. So they all went to lunch and came back. Flafuligida, right? And then to play like an instrument, like a drum, guitar, it's gonna be hayijida. Hayijida. Okay, but I'm gonna move on to the next one. Boop. And boop. Okay. We're gonna look at y'all. We're almost done with all of our versions. We have so many. So y'all. So it's you, but many. You, all, y'all. Okay, so we have our home bida. So home,
Home.
Home.
achi, achi,
Achi.
home batches,
Home
Home
batches.
batches.
home batches,
Home
Home
batches.
batches.
achi, home batches. Machi. And just like the U form, this one has different forms. It has atski, atski, like it follows the same thing, right? Basically, if there's the form where it's an E instead, it probably does the same thing in the y'all form with the ah, right? So I'm using the achi form, but all the other ones are valid as well. So yehegida to saying yeheg,
Yaheg.
Yaheg.
ach,
But
Ach.
Ach.
Sk.
yeheg, achis,
yeah,
Yeheg.
Yeheg
Gotchas.
gotchas.
yeheg, achis,
Yaheg.
Yaheg.
Yeheg gotchas.
yeheg, achis.
Yaheg. Gotcha.
Yeheg gotchas.
But gee, we have to use the bifakida again, because if I'm saying y'all, I'm already implying it's more than one. So we're using the 3+ version. So bifak,
Bifat.
Bifak.
achi,
Achi.
Achi.
bifak, achis,
Gotchas.
Gotchas.
bifak, achis,
Bifat.
Bifak
Gotchas.
gotchas.
gee, bifak, achis.
Bifat. Achkas.
What? G. Next is a bulgada, right? It was legida. Y'all implies multiple, so we're using the 3+ version, a bulgada, to sit. So we have a bulg,
A
Abog.
bog.
achi,
Achi.
Achi.
a bulgachis,
above,
Abog.
Gotchas.
Yes.
a bulgachis,
Above.
Abog. Gotchas.
a bulgachis.
Abog.
Gotchas.
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 We have iskida, so we're gonna have isk,
East.
Isk.
achi,
Achi.
Achi.
iskachis,
Iskachis.
Gotchas.
iskachis,
Gotchas.
machi, iskachis, machi, machi. And then once again, because I want to make sure I get to the last parts. So you'll have these on your PDF. I'm not going to go through the answers, but to run through how they're pronounced real quick, we have abiyada, and that's to go more than 3 or more, abiyada. So you've probably heard ayada, yes, I'm going. Abiyada is when there's 3 or more people, abiyada. Bunida is to dance. Another form is Opunvkv with the O in front of it. Both are used. Hagehogida is to cry for 2 people, right? So up until now, I've given you examples of 3 or more. But we have a separate form for 2, right? Legida is to sit, 1. Abogida is to sit 3 or more. So for 2 to sit is gagida. Gagida to sit for 2. So hagehogida to cry 2 people. or gagida, to sit, 2 people. Machi. And last but not least of all our forms, you've made it so far. We have the they form, right? We have I, you, we, y'all, they. Machi. Kalani, do you have a question?
On that other one though, you know, I mean, a couple of screens back, you were talking about the AT, let's see, what was it?
AT.
ATCE. Okay. So, you know, just like you were doing home, and you've got that E there. So you're taking that E out and just changing that whole ending sound to HOMPATV, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, basically that what would be the itchy for the U becomes achi for the y'all, and that shows the so home bitches is you're eating, home y'all are eating.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, but my processing skills are kind of slow this morning, and so that's why I was having trouble with that. But anyway, but oh,
I was able to help you, Machi. And then we're on they. Okay. So for they, we have our root, our home, and then you're gonna see there's 2 things, right? So let's go with these. Hombada, to eat. Agi. Magayo maga.
Hombagi.
And then
Ambagis.
Hombagis.
Machi, hombagis. Hombagis.
Hombagus.
Ambagis.
Yes.
Say hombagis. So that's a dialectal. I'm using the one I use, so hombagis.
Hombagis.
Hombagus.
Ambagis.
Machi. We have yehegida, so we have yeheg.
Yeheg.
Egg.
Agi.
Age.
Yehegagis.
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 Machi. Bifakida. It already shows multiple, right? Hombada by itself doesn't, and yehegida by itself doesn't. But bifakida already means 3 or more. This og is only used when we need to show that it's multiple and we have no other way to do it. So because bifakida by itself already shows it, we have to add just this short little e. So it becomes bifakis.
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 Machi, bifakis.
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 Machi, bifakis. So abogida does the same thing. Abogida already means 3 or more. It already shows the multiple. So when I want to say that they are doing it, I just add the it. So abog, it,
Above.
Abogus.
abogus,
Abogus.
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 Machi. And the last one on this we have iskida. That doesn't show how many by itself. So we have to go back to adding this agi. So we have isk, og,
Ug.
iskagus.
Iskagas.
Iskagus.
And then because it's present tense, we're gonna make that long e. So iskagus,
Iskagus.
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 Machi, iskagus. Now that can be a little hard at first. So just kind of repeating myself, hopefully it'll help. When your verb doesn't inherently show number. If I said this one, right, the short little e, hombis, that means he, she, or it, because there's no number associated with hombida. But bifatgida has a number associated with it, right? It's 3 or more. It's inside the verb. It already means multiple things. So if I put it, it's just the he, she, it version, but it already implies they, because there's more than one he, she, or it. So befakis. Gee. And these would be your other verbs. I want to get to the last part, so I'm not going to do it. But to say them for you, number one is omeyeda, to swim. Omeyeda. Number two is to drive like a car. Sadokida.
Dokida.
To scream or to yell is silaksigida. Silaksigida.
Silaksigida.
Gee. And then to run for two people, because we've said likida and we said bifakida, but two people to run is dokoskida.
Dokida.
Dokoskida.
Dokida.
It's a pretty mean one. When you're first learning, it's a pretty mean word. So it's why I usually don't focus on two people running when I first teach. Okay. So real quick, let's see if you can recognize who is doing the action. So in hombagus, what form?
They are.
They are.
Gee, they are eating. Gee. How about no flages?
We.
We're
Gee, we, right? And think of that sound, no flages, right? We, no flages, we are cooking. He did just,
You.
Gee, you, he did us to see, he did just, you are looking at. Omeyes.
Omeyes.
Gee, I am swimming. Omeyes. Omeyes. Iskis.
Iskes.
He, she.
They are
or-
Okay.
drinking.
So it could be like Jordan Iskis or Tad Iskis, or it could be Ifa Iskis, right? Be fought gotchas.
They, or y'all.
They all are.
Y'all,
Oh,
y'all are running. So at least three of y'all are running. Gee. And then I want to cover this real quick. I don't remember how much time I got. Not too long, so I'm gonna go fast. Okay. Using dos. If there's one thing that you may have seen a lot or heard a lot, we use dos a lot. And this is there's a lot of reasons for it, but here's our quick reason. We have our final S as our final statement piece. That S means statement. Statement. It's a mood. So it changes depending on what we're doing. If it's a question, it's not going to be an S anymore, right? So it changes. We can replace this S with dos for our present tense to basically say the same thing, slightly different meaning. Very little nuance. Omida, which means to be, is where this dos comes from. This dos is the third person, the he, she, it. So it's being used as a helping verb, right? We talked about earlier how when I say I am running, am comes from to be. It's helping us show when we're doing it. She is looking, is helping, saying right now. So we use dos as a helping verb a lot. In this case, when I say isques versus isque dos, the nuance is going to be, let's say isque dos is like, say you ask me, what are you doing? I'd be like, isque dos, I am drinking water. Or I want to emphasize that I'm doing it right now. Versus isques can be used to just say, in general, I drink tea. So it has, there's slight nuances. I'm not going to go into all of them, but just being able to use both is helpful. So I wanted to show this real quick using all of the forms we've already used. So I didn't touch them for the most part. I had to add no flagida because we were only doing 5 in each one and there's 6 persons. So for home beta, right, we have our home, we keep our A for that, the I form. So home bay, now we add dos. So it becomes home bay dos.
Bomberos.
Bomberos.
Adam.
Ombedes.
Hombedos.
Bombero.
Ombedos.
Hombedos. Gee. Our Yehagida. We have our Yehag, and we're going to use our U form. So you are singing itchy. So Yehag itchidos. Yehag itchidos.
Yegicheros.
Gee. Adam. Yehag itchidos.
Yegicheros.
Nice. When it's by itself, this one definitely takes that E feeling because it doesn't have anything to pull its weight. Yehagitchidos. 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 But gee, we have lickida, so we have our leak. We have our nothing, which means we have to put that I in there. So leak and then dos. So liquidos. It's still an I. Liquidos.
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 Gee, liquidos.
Liquidos.
Gee, and for liquida is not too much of a problem, but for hombida, if I don't specify that, you might hear the wrong thing. Hombidos is he or she is eating, but hombidos is we are eating, right? So that I and E, gotta be careful with it. We have dasigida, so that was to jump multiple, right? 3 or plus, 3 or more, dasigida. So it's dasij, E,
Dasi.
dos. So hadam, dasij,
Dasigeros.
E,
Dasigeros.
Dos.
dasigidos.
Dosigidos.
Hadam, dasigidos.
Dasigeros.
Dasigidos. Let's Iskida. We have our iskida, which is to drink. We're going to use the y'all form. So it's going to be isk, achi, dos. So iskachidos.
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 Iskachidos. And then when we do it in present, we elongate it. So iskachidos.
Iskachidos.
Escachidos.
Iscachidos.
Iskachidos.
Iscachidos.
We have no slagedas. We have no slage.
No flage.
Right, to cook. We have our augie because this one doesn't have a different form for multiple for they. So augie
Agi.
and then dos.
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 No slage.
Leageros.
No
Noflejagidos.
Dos. Dos.
No slage augidos.
No say.
No shadagidos.
Gee, they are cooking. Gee. Okay. Come on, go to the next one. Oh, I'm still drawing. That's why I was like, why isn't it moving? Okay. Oh, I'm almost right at time, really close. So before I leave, I crammed y'all with a lot of information so you can get all your present tenses. Are there any questions before I have to head out? Because it's best if we just go ahead and answer them now.
You mentioned a PDF. Where do I find that? I've been on the YouTube and the Facebook page, but I didn't see any.
If you go to the YouTube and the description section on any of the previous lessons, so any of the previous lessons description section, it'll have that link to the drive, and then you can click it and go from there. And then the other way is actually our link tree. Do I have our link tree in this room? I don't know if I do. So Jordan went out to lunch. She usually has her link tree, and I can't think of it right now. But if you go to any of the previous lessons, it has to be specifically the YouTube recorded lessons. If you go to the description, it should have a link to a Google Drive, and there you can find them. And I'm Mahaya Eli, so you have to go to Eli's section to get my lesson. And on top of that, the last one I taught is already in there too. So if you didn't have that one, you also will have access to that one.
Mahaya Aboka Ojis.
Mhm.
So whenever we are doing like, or trying to say like her brother or something like that, is there a difference between like those, or am I getting kind of Like, is there a difference between like his or her, or is that like something totally different? Because I know we said like, his or she, he, it. So is that all the same or?
Okay, I see what you're saying. So
Okay.
it is different. Think of it this way, right? Our subject, object, or verb, in this case, I guess well, I'll keep it this way. So let's say you're saying her brother is eating bread. So the brother is the subject, her brother. So that's gonna be here. Ejifwa, that's an R for anybody. Ejifwa is the word for a woman's brother. So Ejifwa, this E here in the front, this means her. So Ejifwa. And then our word for bread is dot. Legi.
Taklegi.
And then home. And it ends with what? Anybody remember?
Eating.
Noli.
Ombra.
Eating is.
Is. Right? Because her brother is eating. If I took out the, I guess, like the specific, it would be he. Her brother. He is eating. Right? So we use the he form. He. So, the part that shows the my, your, her isn't the same, but because we're talking about her brother, somebody who's not a part of this conversation, it uses this form, home base. But the actual how like siblings work and how we do my versus your, there's two different versions. There's like for my brother as a woman, be Jifwa. But my cat would be Bozy. So the part that says my changes depending on if it's considered alienable or inalienable. Can you exist without it? Can you exist without it, basically? And so not going into that whole thing right now, but in a future one, I definitely can. The my and all that stuff is different than the verb parts, but because it was her brother, so he, it uses home base versus same with these, because even though this is my cat isn't a part of this conversation, right? I'm not talking to my cat's not talking to me. They're outside this conversation, so it's it or he or she. Or sorry, for my brother, sorry, I was saying about cat. It would be he, and then for cat, you would either use it or he or she, depending on the gender of your cat. So it would all still be this form, home base. Versus I'd have to say, I am eating bread for it to change. Dot leggy home base. You are eating bread. Dot leggy home bitches. We are all eating bread. Dot leggy home bees. So I hope that kind of made sense. Did that answer your question?
Ihi. Mada.
Muchy. Okay, any other questions before I head out? Five and a 4 and a 3 and a Hokolan and a Humgen and Mudo. Okay, so if there's no questions, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna end our class with 10 minutes over. Sorry. And next week teaching it on Friday next week. So we're gonna have more grammar that day, and I'm not telling you who's teaching in between them because it's Mystery Mvhayv. So you'll have me again. And if there's any grammar specific questions, you can always come back on Friday ready to ask them. And otherwise though, Mado for coming.
Madam Mahaya.
No, Mado.
Mado.
I don't.
Jujadakas.
That is.
Jihi Japas.
Maro.